and layers and consistencies combined, and that helps it congeal better. Enough of this. Now you're tampering with Steve. This is way easier than hand shoveling. I made one of these a few years back, and the limit on how big I got it was when I was too exhausted to make it any bigger. So this is making short work of it. There's still a little bit of daylight, some gas left, and some beer left. So I'm going to keep making it as big as I can until we run out of one of those three items. Okay, I had not crazy father-in-law, crazy father. Oh, that hits the blooper roll. Okay. So I had father-in-law, not crazy father-in-law, doing the equipment operating here and bringing the snow. And then I was just piling it on top. And we're not done yet because I want this to be pretty big and comfortable inside. It's early enough in the season. We could use it all winter long. So it's usually step 2. It's step 1.5 because we're not even done step 1 of piling up the snow yet. So cheers, everybody, and take a little break for step 1.5 today. We cleared 3/4 of an acre worth of snow, piled it up. There hasn't been much this year. It was like 4 inches maybe. So it took a lot to get a pile just this big. So we've let it set up for a couple of days. We've come back to ring in the new year. And what better way to start 2020 than sleeping in a humongous pile of snow down at the lake? So a brief recap of what I know about these things is, 1, you got to let the snow sit there for a little bit before you try to hollow it out. Because if you don't, you're really risking a collapse. 2, don't try it when it's warmer than -5 Celsius. So in Fahrenheit, that is, did the conversion there. So you know kind of when to stop hollowing out by when the light starts to come through. Some people use like little chopstick-sized pieces of wood and stick them in all over so that when you're hollowing it out, you'll hit that and you'll know that don't dig anymore because you're going to break right through. But I tried that on the last one I did, and I found that by the time I was hitting that stick was right about the same time as I was starting to see the light come through the snow. So I've got a spotter here to make sure that it doesn't come down and crush me. And when I start digging in, I'm going to dig upwards. I won't bore a little hole right at the bottom all the way through because I don't want 6 feet of snow on top of me ready to come down, because even with the spotter, that would be kind of hard to dig me out. And time to start hollowing this thing out. We've been hollowing this out. A couple of neighbor boys came over to give me a hand because who can't resist building a snow fort, right? So I got a bunch of help. I wouldn't be able to do that without Jacob and Torrin. And Torrin has got a YouTube channel, so I've subscribed to him, and I have to give a shout out for all the help he's helped me with this. And I'm gonna show you what we got inside so far. Now, as I was saying about the sun coming through, you can see that little spot there. That's when it's definitely time to stop. I've been using the daylight I've got to carve this out until I've got it big enough. I could make it bigger, but this is an awful lot of snow I still have to move out. And with this gone, I can stand up in here, so that's pretty sweet. So I'm going to take a break. Time for another step 2 today. And then I'll be back and I can finish clearing all this out even if it's dark. And the sun goes down at like 4:30 here, so we don't work with a lot of daylight, and this was a big project so far. So I'm going to crack a step 2, then take a little break and come back and reassess the situation. We got her set up for the night, hunker down. Nothing better than sleep in one of these. It's deafeningly quiet. It is absolutely insanely quiet. So let's get on to that step 2.
My name is Roosevelt. I always thought that cigarette smoking just messed up your lungs. I never thought that at only 45 would give me a heart attack. I never thought that it would stop me from playing basketball with my kids. I never thought that it would give me a scar like this. And I never thought that it would change my life forever. My tip is, do your heart a favor and quit now.
You can quit. For free help, text QUIT NOW to 333-888.
Before I could use my mind to move a submarine. Before I knew, I was defeated. Before I understood what nuclear truly.
Well, that's more shoveling than I ever wanted to do in my life. And I could have made it bigger, but I got to get a video film, guys. So the next step I'm going to do is turn this lantern on. And that will melt some of the snow on the inside. And it will give it a little ice dome of rigidity. So extra support. I'll let that go for an hour or so. And I'll close off the door and I'll come back. But yeah, these green propane cylinders, do I have a story about that? I needed one because the lantern fits into that holster, and I didn't think I'd have room for the propane tree in here. I'm surprised I could stand up. This is actually awesome. But the gas station was charging $22, almost $22, $21.70 something for one of these 1 pound green cylinders. I had to take a picture, and I didn't buy it out of the principle of the thing, even though I desperately needed one. I drove around, another 100 kilometers, 60 miles looking for one that didn't cost $22. So that's where we're at there, because this is not taking camping bag for the people at $22 to run a little lantern for an evening. So I will let this go. Another step 2, get out of here while it's warm. Everything I'm doing here, I just got it off the net. I'm by no means an expert in building these things, so please don't take what I say as guaranteeing you're going to be safe making one of these, because it's a lot scarier as an adult than it was as a kid to know you got such a weight of snow over top of you. So be sure to be careful if you're going to build these. Do it when it's colder than 25 Fahrenheit or -5 Celsius. So do that. Do it properly. Let it set up for a long time. And after you hollow it out, have somebody with you when you do it, and leave it sit for a few days too. Once it's hollowed out, just to be sure. After a few days, you might think, yeah, okay, I trust it now. But I'll be sleeping in it the first night tonight because I've got to get this video up. So I'll turn this on, and I'm going to poke a vent hole after I've done the ice crusting. And I got to have another beer because I am thirsty from all that shoveling. It's just ridiculous. Like, with just this little guy here. That's what I use to hollow it all out. Yeah. All right, it certainly is cozy, and it's definitely quiet in here. And it's a lot more work than I thought. But I'm going to fry up a little food, of course. Another step 2. Get ready for the New Year's festivities. It should be fun tonight. So I did drill a vent hole, actually right up by the stove there. And I got TV for later. It's a DVD player, and I'll plug that into the Jackery portable power pack. But that's also running the lights and everything in here right now as well. I got my trusty butane stove. And there is ventilation in here. There's a door, and there's the vent hole. And we won't cook too long. This isn't something you leave running all day. First things first, get this out of the way. And I'm going to plug in the rice cooker to get the rice going. Yes, thrift store rice cooker, $19.99. Oh, that could have ended very badly. Slippery table. Okay. And need a power bar. I could see this going real bad. I'm going to rearrange stuff here. Okay, well that's better. This Jackery can actually supply this thing with up to 500 watts. When I picked out this rice cooker, I got one that was 300 watts so that I could run it off the battery pack. And we get the rice cooking. And everything's going to be all right. The rice has cooked to perfection. Rice cookers are so great. And it took the Jackery from a full charge down to like 65%. So it did eat up some juice, that's for sure. But I'm going to throw on meatballs with the sweet and sour sauce. And I have a little foil pouch with some broccolis in it because I like to be healthy. Yeah, right. Pre-cooked frozen meatballs. Now they say you should cook these in the oven.